here in Atlanta, Georgia, and fully representing St. Lucia.
Nice. Um, can you, before we talk about that big release, share a little with us on your musical journey?
Just repeat that one more time, please.
Before we get into the new release, just share with us your musical journey.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I started making music around 2012, 2013. Formed the group Militant Soldiers in Fort Saint Jacques. Had in Soufre. Had a group of guys, well dressed, Ice Kids, Bill Seeker Rhymes, quite a few guys, Edwin, uh, you know, um, and we used to do dancehall predominantly. Then we tapped into the Denry segment vibe. We started doing that for a while. Um, we performed pretty much around St. Lucia. A lot of the guys, some of them still do music. A lot of them still just kind of like in the space, but they're not really doing music. I continue. It's my passion. Um, been taking it around the world, been traveling, been here in the States performing, still writing music, writing for artists as well. Um, and, the sky's the limit, still going strong.
Definitely, and I applaud
Yeah.
you on that as well. So, what inspired that stage name, a big vibe, and how do you really think it reflects in your personality or even your musical
My music.
energy?
Well,
Yes.
Big Vibe, that name it came because the time I started doing music, I probably was around the age of 15, and I used to like just be out, I karaoke wherever the fete was in Saint Lucia, you'd find me there, a young guy just roaming. If there was a mic, I wouldn't be shy to grab the mic and start performing. And my friends, they call me Big Vibe because they saw me as a guy who was just like ahead of my time, doing that kind of vibe. I used to bring good energy anywhere I go. I bring good energy, good vibes, and in my music, inspired by Vibes Cartel as well. The vibe in my name from that Vibes Cartel because one of the things that Vibes Cartel inspired me to do was to be versatile, like the way that he in his craft, he do reggae, he do dancehall, and he could just whatever sound that he gives you, you will feel it and you will feel like that authentic vibe. So I wanted to take that from him and see if I could add that page and take a page from his book and add it to mine in that sense. Yeah.
Nice. Let's talk about your brand new release, SOCA Therapists. What was the inspiration behind this song?
Well, one thing is I just love having songs in different various topics, different titles that kind of like might spark someone's interest because I think that's part of the branding. Maybe somebody might wonder what's that song talking about before even just trying to hit. So I think of stuff that would kind of like spark that. So I figured soca therapist plus um, the song I try to go in a dual, I would say dual meaning, you know. Soca music could be therapeutic to people, and as well as I have a feminine, like a romantic vibe into there, So it could be like a girl could make you feel like she could be your therapy, or the music could be your therapy. So that was the kind of dual meaning I was trying to add to that song.
I must say, it really grabs the attention, of everybody who hears about it for sure.
Thank
You
you.
just shared your story or your messages. What are you really hoping to convey? I mean, again, we know 2025, big and better carnival, as much as going to be here to partake. This is really a big song. It would be a nice thing to drop that on the stage. Huh?
Absolutely. And the goal with that song, I just wanted to had my contribution towards, the vibe, the music vibe in St. Lucia for Carnival. And that's why I tapped into the bouillon, which is, one of the sounds that's out there right now and, in demand. So I was like, let me try something new. Let me contribute towards what's happening on the island. And, Soca Therapist came about.
Nice. It just piques my interest. We listen it and not being there to really perform it and feeling that. Big
right?
Five is definitely different. Your
Absolutely.
thoughts?
Well, I'm kind of used to, it's a, how would I say? I would love to be there. I wanted to. My plan was to be there this year. I actually fully planned it, and just last minute different things. I had to change up my mind with that. But I still wanted to make the contribution, and I hope the people could receive it well. It could be a song that people could have a vibe to, and even if I'm not there in person, but the presence and the music could be there. Yeah.
Definitely. Let's just take the time to big up Mob Frets. And of course, I know the whole of Foster Jack is definitely locked in as well. We want to reach out to all those online who are actually listening. We want to say good morning to you guys as well. Let's delve a little into was there a particular mood or memory or even real life as well that really sparked the idea of this track? I think there
Um.
was maybe a little more to that.
Yes, absolutely. Music is like my passion. I think it starts with that. I think no matter what I go through, I feel I could listen to music, whether it is not mine or whether it is some of my old music. Even when I get a writer's block or something, I go back and listen to my very old music, and it could put me back into a vibe and make me feel like, yo, look how far you come from. No matter what you're going through, bro, just look back and see where you started until where you at, and it makes me feel good. So it's like a form of a therapy to me, just going back and listen to old stuff, and sometimes even new stuff for inspiration, as well. And in the Caribbean, I feel soca, carnival. If you take that away from us, like we're not gonna be ourselves. Like that's huge in our DNA footprint. Like anywhere we go, soca, carnival, that kind of vibe. So I feel like a huge part of us is that. So I wanted to kind of convey that in a song. So when people feel like they hear soca therapist, they could feel like, yes, play me some soca, I'll feel good. Yeah.
Definitely. You mind sharing a little with us in terms of the production of this piece?
Absolutely. The guy who produced that song, his name is Jay Blue, Trinidadian, born and raised, but he's based out in New York. Young producer. I actually heard his production from another artist friend of mine. Reached out and he didn't take no time to send me a beat, and I sent him back a demo right away. His vibe, the beat definitely has that vibe in there that just when you hear it, it inspires you. So it didn't take me long to write that song. Like quick, real quick. Yeah.
Are you looking in the near future, that is? Are you looking to collab with any of the artists here as well? I know you big shout out to your team, like those guys from Fonse Jacques, or even if you look at like an Arthur or even a Rickety, would that be your future project?
Absolutely. So one of the things that I have on my list, I think it's all about timing the right song and the right time to present it, whether it is from my part or on their part. I'm always open to work with new artists. I just released my previous song before this one was released with Awi, which is another St. Lucian artist. The song was titled Lifestyle. Awi is an artist based, he's from Labrie, but he's also based up here in Houston. Um, Dancehall artist, pretty much, he started doing the same vibe with Denry Segment, and he branched off into dancehall. But yeah, Alpha is definitely one person I want to collaborate with. I just want to find the right song to present to him. And if he's out there hearing that, Alpha, if you got a song that sounds like Big Vibe, feel free to reach out. And there's a lot of other Saint Lucian artists I look up to as well. That's in the game, inspired me as well. I watch them perform, and I learn stuff from them as well.
Okay, how do you think maybe your fans and even listeners been responding to this new release?
The feedback is great. For me, this is my first Booyah. I've been trying to tap into the soca vibe for a while now. I have different songs that did pretty well, but however, this song like I took a long break from doing any type of soca, and I feel like my fans and my core base, the people who know my music, and actually new people who just got introduced to me through that sound, it kind of re-inspired me in a way that makes me feel like I should really add this into my catalog even more because I sound natural. That's one of the top feedbacks I get on there. It sound like me, sound natural, and that makes sense because it came from Dominica, which is, Dominicans. If they speak to you, it's sweaty from Saint Lucia. So that vibe just is like our brother and sister over there. Yeah.
I hear you speak with such a passion. Do you think enough is really being done for our artists back home? That level of
Um.
support?
Well, I think we definitely could use more of that support when it comes to public, a little bit from the public in terms of reaching out to media houses and requesting your favorite artist, or maybe just a favorite song, not your favorite artist, but a song that you like from somebody local. I think just calling on the public to do that more because I think the media houses are ready to play the songs. Um, but if it's not in demand, if the people don't feel like, I want to hear that, you guys might not know, or another DJ might not want to play it because he don't think people like it. So if you're out there listening to that and you're a big vibe fan, yeah, reach out to the radio stations, ask out just like any other artist out there. But I do think one of the things one challenge that I have as an artist for a long time is when releasing songs. I think it's a kind of hustle to try to get everyone to tap in terms of DJs, radio stations, like some kind of form of synchronization where like an agency where just one push out, the music could be everywhere, and the communication could be everyone could be on the same page as to what the goal what the goals are of the song. So I think anybody listening who also want to have a career in entertainment could take on the role of just forming an agency that kind of like form a bridge between artists and DJs and radio stations and stuff like that. That would be great, a great contribution. Yeah.
Definitely. At this moment, I want to ask you what life experiences or even maybe artists that has really played a major role in shaping your style or even your life thus far.
Absolutely, I have quite a few. My own personal upbringing, growing up in Font Saint Jacques, and just going through phases as a young artist, a young guy. Sometimes growing up on the streets, that inspire me in the dancehall way. What I saw around me, the kind of stuff that I participated in, it kind of shaped me, but as well as um, making me humble. So with music, I always try to like spread out something positive because I know what that is, to like come from the ghetto, um, come from a family that we wasn't born rich, that kind of way. Um, Also seeing other people, just other people in the community struggle or go through different things. Um, from like whether that is career, whether that is just family stuff, but all of those stuff inspire me, and I try to put it in the music in different ways. Whether I go back to dancehall and I try to do like some kind of conscious vibe, um, not really, I started off doing like some of the bad boy, gritty dancehall stuff, but that just was a time. And, after a while, you grew up from that and you realize life is a beautiful thing and you just want to spread love. So, I elaborate love in my music. Yeah.
Definitely, and I'm wishing you nothing but joy and success on that
Yeah.
journey. How do you manage to stay authentic while also pushing creative boundaries, especially in soca?
Wow, that's a good one. It's hard, honestly, because social media constantly changing, the atmosphere constantly changing, and the sound is sometimes you think okay right now it's bouillon, but then next year is something different, and you gotta try to be yourself, but you gotta stay current because if you don't stay current, you get lost in the mix. So honestly, for me, I just go back to listen to my old stuff. I go listen to my old music, and it kind of give me a sense of that authentic vibe that where I came from with the music, the sound, so that I don't lose my sound. I don't try to stuff that not doesn't sound like me, and as well as try new things too. It's okay to try new things and fail at it. Sometimes people don't like it at all, and you get to learn that's not you. So yeah, so that's the way I stay current.
Tell us what's next for Big Vibe. What are some of your personal goals? I mean, for the rest of the year or even 2026?
Um, Honestly, one of my biggest things is to come home more frequently, tap in with my people, my family, friend bases, and just have that presence home because I feel like that's what's missing right now. I spend a lot of time developing my sound and to the point where I could write for myself, write for other artists as well. So I feel like coming home and building that type of backing with like the fans would be one of my at the top of my goals, as well as releasing more music. I have a huge unreleased catalog. A lot of the times I stay quiet, but I've been working in the background. And I would like to actually put out those songs, just put it out. Sometimes personally, I'm a little bit hard on myself. I might write a song and then I might just have it there, not releasing it. And who knows? Somebody else might like it. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you see SOCA Therapists as a standalone single? Or do you think it's maybe part of a larger project that persons can definitely look forward to?
I think I think I will leave it open to be a part of a larger project um because of the feedback. The feedback is great. I think it's a type of sound that I want to indulge in some more. So I might do some more bouillon and maybe make it a part of a bigger project.
Nice.
Yes. Thank you.
What advice would you offer to young aspiring artists? You spoke of the challenge, you spoke about coming from that community of Fons and Jacques and having that sort of transformation. So now, what advice would you lend to the young ones?
I would say don't give up. It's a more of a journey. Um, I know times and social media and the way the current business of the music is, it kind of makes you feel like you don't have to nurture your craft. You just have to say something that people are gonna like, and then you bust. But the thing about that is, there's no longevity in that. I think when you work and nurture your craft, it lasts much longer. The song people could hear. For example, if one of my songs take off right now and you go back and listen to the past 5 releases, you might see, even if you don't know these songs, but you might see something, you might see the quality that was there from way back, not just that one song. So I would tell to other artists, and even in other things, not just music, just stay consistent and keep on. Don't try to rush the art. Don't try to rush the process. You know, reach out to people. Don't be afraid to reach out to people and ask for advice, because that helps. And feedback as well. Be open for feedback. Like I'm really open for feedback, regardless. I think feedback is what helped me get better. Um, and as an artist, like as an individual from Soufriere, the message I want for the youth down there, I just want them. I've been paying attention and I've been seeing a lot of good things, but also some bad things recently. And I just want to say to them, Soufriere, I've been probably maybe over 100 countries, cities and countries combined. Well traveled young guy, and there's no other place like Soufriere. No other place. So I really appreciate the place. Protect the peace in the community. The peace of Soufriere is very important. Soufriere is like a breadbasket for Saint Lucia, and I think statistically, Soufriere has the most entrepreneurs in Saint Lucia. So there's a huge chance for you as a youth over there, as a youth from Soufriere. So just stay focused. Yeah.
Definitely. Last week I had an interview, and that individual gave you a great shout out, Emran Henry, and commended your work as well. Definitely highlighting, you did stand out again, boasting the community where both of you guys came from. I'm going to ask you, do you think you actually had to migrate to get your foot in the music industry? Could you not have gotten that right at home?
Absolutely. But first of all, big up Emran Henry. He's an inspiration. Growing up, watching Emran Henry perform, he's like, I think from Fon Saint Jacques, Emran Henry was one of the first guys who actually had a song that was well known, and one of the first guys that make me see that, hey, you could come from there and you could do this too. So big up to Emran Henry. And but I want to say that not really. I think it's actually much difficult for artists migrating when they migrate. It's much easier for artist to stay home and connect with the bass, with the ground, make the song bust home or whatever, and then have that type of backing to support you to go out there in the world. Um, I think it's any artist out there who's in Saint Lucia, just appreciate, appreciate it, because I think the talk of the streets. I remember it wouldn't take much for a song to go viral because we know the talk of the streets. But for artists who's not on the ground, you kind of like late. You kind of late on the vibe. By the time some like people done saying something, you're trying to catch up and figure out what is that. But if you was there, you would know the talk of the street. You would know how to write. I think you would write for the people. You would know the atmosphere. So yeah, absolutely, being home would have helped even more. Yes.
Having the privilege to actually work with a few artists, and you hear the cries all the time, and their stories in the music. Would you share that very same sentiments? It's either running away from something or to something, the struggles, family, and whatnot. You care to share that as well?
Yes, if I understand your question, just reiterate it, please.
Artists' lyrics are basically running to or from something, their life
Right,
stories.
right.
You can definitely speak to that as well.
Absolutely. As an artist, I think it's always tapping into music that people can relate. So it's always real. It's always life stories, whether it is yours or it's somebody's. I think we are huge. It's almost like you read a book, but you could get the same type of message in a song as well. But everyone get to depict it in their mind. They get an image of what's happening the unique way. So every we could sing about the same song, same topic, but everyone could get a different image whilst listening. So I think it's important for us to continue putting our life stories into the music, as well as other inspirational stuff, whether it is somebody else's story or and then to the other side of that, sometimes people want a better life, and they blessed with a talent. They could play an instrument, or they find out they have a beautiful voice, and they want to use it to help elevate their life. And so absolutely, I think it's always either we trying to strive for something, or we just want to, you know, put out something, like let our voice be heard.
Thank you.
Yes.
18 minutes after 11 in Service and Lucia and the Eastern Caribbean. If you're just joining us, say good morning to you. With me, no one else than Josiah William, also known as Big Vibe. For someone hearing Big Vibe for the first time, what's one thing you would like them to walk away remembering?
Well, I just wanted people to know that when it comes to my sound, that St. Lucia has a lot of talent. If you so because a lot of times people hear me, they don't think I'm from St. Lucia, or they might hear my music and they be like, "Yo, you from home?" They can't believe it. What I wanted people to know is, yes, St. Lucia got real talent, raw talent, people that could do a lot of different types of stuff. So um, yeah, just tap in with the youth, support the youths, and I think more people like me, more people could make it much bigger than me in the music. Looking like we're having a technical difficulty here.